So let's talk about 3 and 4-year-olds physically. 3 and 4-year-olds, they have low tone physically. This is very important. If there's anything that you want to think about with a 3 and 4-year-old physically, circle the word low tone. So expectations you should have with 3 and 4-year-olds is to drop their arms often when punching or blocking. You run those drills, you know, where you have them in the middle stance and their punches are out, and then you walk over and Juju drops her punch. So then you go over to Juju and you pick up her arm, and then Manny drops his punch. So then you walk over to Manny and you pick up his arm and you turn around and Juju's arm's back down again. So then you go over to Juju and next thing you know, all the kids' arms back down again. And what are you thinking in your head? They're lazy. These guys, they're lazy kids, right? I'm not working with these kids anymore because they're lazy, because they can't even hold the punch out, so I don't even want to teach them martial arts. It's not. It's their stage of development. They don't have the upper arm strength. If you can tell, you can take a 3 and 4-year-old and have them do arm circles. And if they only do this means they don't have shoulder muscles. If they could do big arm circles and little arm circles, that means that they're above their physical stage of development and their upper body strength. So holding their arm out, they really can only hold their arm out anywhere between 4 and 5 seconds like this with good technique. It's a physical stage of development. It'd be like me trying to hold a bucket of water up for more than 5 seconds. You see how tiny my arms are? There's no way that I can hold a bucket. I might not even be able to pick up a bucket of water and hold it up. So we have to expect this. So a lot of martial arts instructors sometimes will see their students dropping their arms or holding their block up and then their block rests on their head, right? Or their other hand goes down. And they get frustrated thinking that they're just weak and they don't belong in martial arts, where it's their physical stage of development. The same thing with their legs. You should expect them to fall when trying to do more than 2 kicks at one time. Expect them to fall when running and jumping. So if you ever try to have a 3 or 4-year-old run and jump over a slammer target and land on their feet, can they do it? No. What's going to happen? They're going to fall on their butt, right? And then what's going to happen with all the other kids who watch them fall? They're going to fall too. And that makes us very frustrated, right? Now, what happens if you have a 3 or 4-year-old who can run, jump over a pad and land on their feet? They're above their... Keep going. Keep going. They're above their physical stage of development for their lower body muscles, right? Because they may have strong legs, but not strong upper body, right? So the more detail you can add into the feedback that you're telling your parents, because if you have a 3 or 4-year-old who does that, who runs, jumps over a pad, and lands like this, you could say, what's one of our top, Rocco. Rocco is above his physical stage of development and his lower body strength, right? What's one of the running requirements for the advanced level of the early skills program? Running and jumping over an obstacle and landing on their feet. So what we do is we put them above their stage of development. When you get to the advanced level of the 3 and 4-year-old program, one of their physical requirements is running. That's one of their skills. They have to run, jump, and land on their feet. So putting them above their physical stage of development. Also, you should expect them to wiggle when sitting still and lose control when their body is moving in multiple directions. So, you ever try to sit a bunch of 3 and 4-year-olds down for more than 5 minutes? More than 5 seconds? What happens? Right? When you're doing mat chats, what happens when you do that? 3 or 4-year-olds, you're telling them to sit like this. Within 5 seconds, what happens? They go like this. And then they lay down on the ground. And you're like, this kid has no discipline. His parents are terrible parents because they can't get their kid to sit still, right? What is really the science behind why they're doing that? Eps. They don't have the core strength. They don't have core strength. So their muscles are weak. So they're sitting here like this. Their muscles cannot hold up their shoulders and did I say head? Cannot hold up their shoulders and their head. How heavy is your head? The size of a bowling ball. Some people have rocks in their head. Their heads are even heavier. I don't know why I was looking over there. Right? So think about it. When you hold your head over like this, you start to naturally go over because your head is heavy. So they're trying to hold up all this so their core caves in because their muscles aren't strong. But yet we expect 3 and 4-year-olds, when we tell them to sit really strong. It would be like me sitting like this and having Andrew come over and sit on my shoulders and me having to hold him up. It would put a strain on my body. And that's the same thing that's happening just naturally with gravity for 3 and 4-year-olds. So, when you have your 3 and 4-year-olds sit, should you be expecting them to sit for a long period of time? No. If they fall and kind of roll around on the ground, is it okay? Yes, you just redirect them and say, let's see if you can sit back up. Who can sit better than H2? Who can sit better than Mr. Clayton? So you can use little things, and we'll talk about that a little bit more, but your expectations shouldn't be there. And when parents say, oh, my son just isn't sitting still in class, you say, no, he's not supposed to. He doesn't have the core muscle to sit still. Think about how heavy his head is. His core isn't there yet. So we expect him to kind of roll around the floor. That's his stage of development. But what if you have that 3-year-old or that 4-year-old, when they're sitting, sit really well and not move? What does that mean? Okay, let's get somebody to say it completely. Let's see how well you can complete this, Aiden.
Above their state of development, core strength.
Yeah, their physical stage of development with their core strength. Now, if you go to a parent and you tell, like, for example, you go to Rocco's mom because Rocco's sitting still, and you say, sitting still, sorry, I'm working on my English still. You go to Rocco's mom and say, Rocco is way above his physical stage of development with his core muscles because he sits really still, and that's not expected for a kid his age. What is Rocco's mom going to think about her son? She's gonna think he's awesome, right? How's she gonna feel about herself? Proud. What is she gonna think about you? You're smart. Wow, I like that kid. He's only 12. How old are you? He's only 12 years old. And man, the feedback he just gave me about my son, that kid's amazing. He's an anomaly, right? So using these words will help you sound like an expert. Okay.